If you track the channel, you know we've been working with Nintendo on Game Builder Garage, bringing it to a whole load of different families.
Oh, hi, come on in.
We wanted to see how each of them got on. Now, some of them had a bit of experience in making games, others really had not done this at all, and then some were kind of in the middle. What we're going to do is spend time with each of them, not only as they get started with the game, but over the days and weeks as their experience evolves. So as you can see here, one of the first things you do when you start up Game Builder Garage is go into the interactive lessons. Now these start at a really nice simple level, so even if you've never done anything before like this, they'll get you started. And they talk you through how to put the bare basics of a video game together. Part of this is introducing these node-on characters. Now this is the way that Game Builder Garage avoids the interface becoming too cluttered and heavy with text, and enables children, teenagers, mums and dads, people of any age to get involved without that kind of imposing complexity of reading what each element does. And also the graphical aspect of the node-ons is a really quick and clear indicator of what each of these do. So as you work through each of the lessons, you learn a different aspect of putting a game together. Then after the lesson, there's a bit of a quiz just to make sure that you've learned what you need to before you move on. This has been a really useful way, I think, for our families to gain confidence in this kind of game building world and to see their results immediately. Because as you dive in and you're moving things around, you're giving these instructions of what you need to change, at any time you can click play and jump into the game so it's running. This means that you often are playing your game when it's kind of half broken, but you can kind of see what is working and what doesn't work. And for lots of the families that we have been visiting, this kind of experimental play really struck a chord with the younger members. Not only did it give them that basic knowledge of how to put a game together, but it started sparking ideas and creativity about what their game would be. And we asked each of the families over the weeks to come up with one game that they'd work together and then they'd play and they would share, so we could see what they would make. So part of this process isn't only about the kind of nuts and bolts and the technicalities of making a game, but also that creative imagination of what game could I create. And I think that's where Game Builder Garage is really strong in these early interactive stages. It really unlocks the possibilities and you start to see what you're doing in these lessons, and that creates connections to kind of ideas that the kids, the mums, the dads had in the family, so that they could then start to think, well, how would I implement that in the game? So there you go, that's where we're going to leave it for today. Our first early look at how these families are taking their first steps into this world of making games. As you can see, some of them got on quite quickly and actually got to the stage of completing some of those tutorials. Others were just taking more time and carefully reading every bit of text and just working their way through it very methodically. We're going to check back in the next 2 videos with these families to see how they progress, how they start to make their own games, and how they then perfect those. And then in the final video, we'll be bringing some hints and tips that we've learned along the way that we think will help you and your family create games in Game Builder Garage.